As a dragon witch, my brothers and sisters, I have always a feeling of doing good in this world. I love to do good in this world. It's a beautiful world to protect. And that is eventually what I try to do as a dragon witch. Of course, you cannot protect everything, and you cannot be everywhere to protect those who are weaker. But that is exactly what is happening inside of a dragon's heart. If you see someone or something in danger, then a dragon is normally not for nothing being called a guardian. And of course, that is eventually what happened to me in my path. And it is something, yeah, a major, major step inside of my dragon's path that I had. Of course, that doesn't mean that you have to do the same step, but it is indeed that a dragon is, and a lot of dragons are not there to hurt anyone. Even though there are a lot of stories that said the dragon is actually a mindless beast that is trying to hurt everyone, or because, yeah, that is untrue. That is not at all true. I have felt a dragon many times, and every time when I felt a dragon, I can only describe them as pure and filled with empathy. And that is also what we are. We should be witches of empaths. And that was the biggest, one of the most biggest changes inside of my dragon's path is the moment that I went vegan. But what does it mean? I mean, it just means that you are stop eating meat. Yeah, that is it. No, my brothers and sisters, it is another an awakening inside of an awakening that happened, because it's so cruel. It's so cruel whatever these animals are doing, whatever they are doing to animals. That my eyes were constantly bleeding every single time I was confronted with these events, what these animals having, these deaths, these screams. I can feel them all over again. And even there was a moment just before I went vegan that my dreams were plagued with it, plagued from animals being torn apart just for the fun of taste, just for the fun of 5 minutes taste pleasure, or maybe sometimes these hunters inside of my forest see them as entertainment. But these animals just want to live. Inside of these dreams, I am sure that these are some things that is being shown by my dragon gods, uh, because you have to be who you really are from the dragons. If you really want to be connected to the dragon, then you have to unleash your draconic instincts. My draconic instincts were already from the moment that I was a child, that I was very upset of what humans did to animals. But they always said it's the way of life, it's the way of living. We are the chain, we are on top of the chain. But I always said to myself, if you had no gun and you are in front of a lion, you will not make it. I mean, so on top of the chain, we are not. When the dragons have claws and they have teeth, they can be on top of the chain. But they choose not to be. Because dragons, they don't torture, they don't hurt, they don't do anything like it. Even though people might think that dragons would do that, but it's in fact humans who did that. And that is what I saw inside of my dreams just before I went vegan. I saw cruelty. I saw horrible death. I even saw, and I will never forget that, a pit filled with severed limbs of animals and dragons. Because that is what eventually will happen, and I'm sure of it. I will always stand with the dragon and not with humans. And that is what a lot of people, even on the dragon's path, disagree on. And I understand where it comes from. I understand it very much. Because it tastes so good, isn't it? Even as a dragon, your taste buds can be much more stronger for meat. It can be, the more that you are awakened, the more that you even love it. And that is also what I had. I loved it. I loved meat. Staying away from this was and something completely new, something that changed me forever. I mean, from the 1st of January 2015, I didn't even know that I was going to do it, but I said, I'm going to stop it. I've had enough from these dreams. It's horrible. I don't want to be a part of it. And dragons are there to protect and to aid those who are weaker. That is also what dragons did to me, because as a child, I was bullied a lot, but a lot. Now I see the same bullying with those who are weaker. Those are animals on earth. If the dragons would return, of course, they would do everything to hurt and even destroy the dragons. That is why on the dragon's realm, humans are not allowed there. Humans are far too destructive. They only think about themselves. They are very, very selfish. And for these reasons, humans are not allowed inside of the dragon realm. You have to leave your human self alive, to sleep, to let the dragon come up, so that you will feel who you are, who you really are, and so that you will enter the dragon realm, or maybe a dream of the dragon, or connect with your dragon whenever your humanity is asleep. And to do that, there are a lot of ways to do that. My brothers and sisters, I didn't went vegan just to stand out in the majority, even though there is so many hate to it. Even on the dragon's path, there are people who are saying, why are you doing this? Why? It's ridiculous. Dragons eat meat. We have to eat meat. Like, rare. No, that is not what dragons are. You are just describing a monster, but not dragons. So if this is what you think of dragons, then maybe you have to reconsider it of what dragons really are. Dragons, in this case, I've seen this bit of separate limbs of animals and dragons, even still moving, and animals and dragons at the same time asking me for mercy. And in this dream, I want to give it to these animals and dragons, but I could not, because this was a dream to learn from, because this eventually happens in real life. Well, nobody is seeing it. These animals are going to die in a most horrible way, just for human profits. And sometimes we as humans are very much manipulated into this, so that we are trying to talk for the industry, because we want our meat, we want our obsession, we want our addiction to continue, even though we don't need it, but we want to continue because we are dragons. Then, no, that is, in the beginning, I thought that also I made the same mistake. I thought it was like this. But what dragons really are empaths. You can see through the eyes of another. You can feel to the feelings of another. That is the gift of the dragon. And that is what we all can feel. So, and it hurts actually whenever I say, yeah, my dragons make me vegan. And I want to talk for these animals that are being destroyed and horribly tortured just for human profit. And that we are actually, I used to actually talk to, on behalf of them, on behalf of humans, on behalf of the industry, saying that we need meat, we need these slaughterhouses, we need to hunt, no, we don't need anything of that. And neither does the dragon, neither does you. No one of us need that. The only one who needs that is the industry. And I will always talk against it. Always those who are bullying or maybe using or misusing life in itself is something that I have learned to be one of the greatest sins that you can do before a dragon god. The dragon god created life, and the dragon gods made it out of primal energy. So that a lot of people say, but why can a lion do that? Why could our ancestor do that? Well, my brothers and sisters, why are we seeing that this is actually wrong? Why are we actually looking away when violence is being committed? Because we are evolving. And what is the dragon? The most evolved being of them all. So we don't have to point out to those who are, to animals that are trying to survive, because we are not trying to survive. We are trying to be better than humans. On the dragon's path, and I will not lie it, I try to be better than humans. I try to grow out of my humanity. And that is what I will also try to say to you, my brothers and sisters. Do not be attached to these horrible industries. Do not let them talk, let you talk on behalf of them so that they can have profit and you can have your addiction. But what is happening to the animals? Nobody cares. But I cared. I cared a lot, even though there are so many people who are so angry with me because I judge them. Yeah, I judge them. I'm sorry. I'm judging you for what you are doing inside of in your plate. Because the way how animals are now being treated and killed and slaughtered is gruesome. It's horrible. And the dragon has nothing to do with that. Nothing at all. I can say it to you with all of my heart, with what you are eating as meat now is horrible and has nothing to do with the dragon gods. Because, like I said, dragons are guardians. And I know how it is to be an animal because I used to be bullied so much and they said animal names to me. But now I see that the only name that I find to be insulting is human. My brothers and sisters, be blessed.